beautifuls and beloveds, hope this finds you well this fine morning. So, I'm going to do a little bit of story time reading from my own book, and we'll see how this goes. Again, this is with glaucoma, legal blindness, and etc. So we found a little devicey thing that kind of helps a little bit, and my getting familiar with the words and memorizing some of them also helps too, so I can recognize the words visually. But you know, it's a very delicate balance, because if I wear my eyewear, corrective eyewear, it triggers my migraines. So what do I want to do about it? So we're giving this a shot, and it seems to be working pretty well. I've already tested it by taking a written test in a class, and although I don't know what the outcome of that test was, I seem to have been able to at least read, even if I was reading an answer that I chose that was wrong. The point was to conquer not being able to read a test. So, lovely. I am going to be reading to you a little segment in my, one of the first DanceWarrior books, From Cancer to Dancer, and there's a lot in here. It basically goes into my history of dance. I don't talk too much about the cancer treatment, but I do talk about some elements that happened in the clinic. I also talk about certain people that came and go in my life. We were very careful, not only in a legal perspective, but as an admiration and a respect for other human beings, not to, you know, badmouth in a sense, but to present the truth, because I don't want to dilute my experience either. So it was a very tender, gentle balance. I am going to be updating this book because some other things have developed, and some other things have been introduced, and some things we now know the answers to. So it's an update, and you know, it's going to be just as interesting as this version. This is I started writing this in 2014. It completed around 2016-ish. I mean, a lot of this was already a fait accompli because it was documented in my history, my journals, you know, posts online, etc. So it's very interesting. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, like that movie talks about, Mean Girls or Heathers, or any kind of really bad outcasting, hazing, petty BS type of stuff, because it happens in every industry. Someday, some way, people are going to realize that some things do cross over into the legal realm, and they're not so petty, and they can really, really cause a lot of harm for people. So I try to err on the side of loving people, but also when you have enemies trying to infiltrate everything you're doing, you really have to draw a line too, and be careful. But this is, I want to say, chapter what now? This is called Breathe, chapter 10. Roses do cry when their petals are torn. Now that's the beginning of a portion of what I said, but you know, as you found out too, but then they kick ass with their thorns. Well, because, you know, you're going to hurt somebody and rip off their petals. Even roses don't allow for that. That's why they have thorns, to keep away evil predators. And yeah, I love it. There is always a pause before the dance begins. This is where I need help. Hold on. Learn to breathe and take time for yourself. Once the dance begins, you belong to the audience. Noelle Anderson. You know, I use Noelle Rose Anderson, Noelle Rose, Noelle Rose Anderson, Noelle Kale, Noelle Rose Anderson Kale. It's all me. There you go. Chapter 10. And here's this beautiful photo. It's so simple. said, it's right there at the bottom. And I make memes, or say I make the memes. I basically tell my people what I want. I say, here, put this quote here, put this here, use that picture. And then sometimes it's my photography. In this case, you saw who the photographer was. So now I want to read to you a segment of this. And again, this is dealing with, I've had people stalking me. Like, for real, none of this fake stuff, someone trying to tell me that I was stalking them, and I'm like, don't you even go there with me, because I was going through that very thing, like, for real. Not, you're uncovering something that makes me uncomfortable, so I'm going to lie about you and put in a false complaint, which, we still have to deal with. Yeah, right. We shut that one down pretty quick. Okay. Shoot. Sorry. Okay, so this talks about the one festival I did, and I had a 102-degree fever. I did the dance, but I was barfing right after. I was so sick. And doctor and husband said, if you get out of bed, you'll be in the hospital, so I couldn't do the teaching segment. Otherwise, I was ready to go. This was my husband's call, and we basically told the festival producer, talk to my husband. It was his wrongdoing, or not wrongdoing, not wrongdoing, misspoke. It was his call. And you've seen how big he is? I can protect myself, but, I wasn't going to say, no. But anyway, the director of the festival was very understanding. We said to do promise date, which, by the way, as soon as I heal from this stupid accident, I'm more than happy to do it for you. So just let us know. Anyway, but I kept all my other upcoming commitments, except the one due to severe illness without misstep and the outside world. However, inside I was drowning in my pain and danced despite it. This is when my mother had just died. Oh, it was hard. I've since, I don't want to say I got over it, but the wound healed, actually, because going through trauma after trauma, you either overcome or you succumb. And I have that saying, and I don't succumb to anything. I'm very strong. Despite what the Associated Press may have tried to quote me to look like, being in my bubble. I'm not even that. And I'm not necessarily saying they were intending to do that on purpose. They just used something, and I'm like, I am not a wuss by any means. Please. That will never fly. You've seen some of my videos. So, yeah. They owe us a really nice article, and we're going to call you up when the time comes, because we have a few things we would like you to help us with, and I'm sure you would like to be the first exclusive on this coming up. So, and we picked the pictures this time. Really, that was your only saving grace, that UA did include a couple of the other pictures that were nice, but I did not appreciate the fact that you told us that we could view the photos first. I said I was a model and a dancer, and even the photographer said, this lighting isn't good. It wasn't me. Pictures don't lie, but lighting does. Yeah. I can make myself look very grotesque, and, if the dance calls for it, I'm all down for that, but, come on. So next time, we're going to be cool if you're cool with us, because that was not cool. At all. Oh my gosh. Blah. So anyway, yeah. So you see, my arms are in perfect fit shape. I did not like that one picture. Oh my gosh. That's what happens when you try to get pregnant. I bloat. Oh, good Lord, do I bloat. And I didn't think that was fair. Trying to show me old or aged or something. I don't know. You got to think about it. I don't want to falsely accuse, but like I said, they know we're going to call them up. They know that they owe us, and I am thankful, though. The only reason we let that whole thing stand as is because I thought that it was more important to get the point out across, to say that you have much to give, and it was for the cause. which is to stand up to sexual abuse, whether you're a child, whether you are an adult, male or female, whether you were sexually abused as a child and you're trying to heal as an adult, all of that. You know, I stand for that, and I've been battling on behalf of not only myself, but other people. And, you know, there was more in that interview. We have a lot of it transcribed, you know, phone call. I always record my end of all conversations so no one can say, you said this, you didn't say this. And, you know, there are portions in it where I said, you know, it made me more angry on behalf of other women, why we were going through that. They didn't include that. No, that would have made me seem too strong. So anyway, I know I'm getting down on them a little bit, but I mean no harm by it, and I know they love us and we love them, but they know that we're going to call them in and call them up when the time comes to, you know, we'll give them an exclusive, but they got to do us good this time, meaning I pick the photos and I need to see, and my board needs to approve the article before it's sent out, because I did not appreciate being painted a certain way that someone could have misconstrued. But yeah, other than that, it was really good. So why did I talk about this? I forgot now. Hold on. Right. Because I wanted to pay tribute to my mother as well, because she was also sexually abused. So when we did that, we were able to bring that to light, and I wanted to be a participant in that because I have a lot to say. You know, my Red Rubans Dance, all of that. So, you know, don't take it the wrong way, Associated Press. Obviously, we respect and love you guys for what you did, but, you know, we'll just fix that when the time comes, and I'm willing to fix that, so we're good. I kept on my other commitment. Yeah, because I was very, 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 very sick. And I don't like to not make my commitments. That's right, I was drowning inside. That's what it felt like. Not that I was going to succumb to it. Oh, that's why I was talking about the Associated Press, because they kind of made me seem a little like that. Not going to happen. Don't over-exaggerate that, please. While I might have said the words when I said when I want to be, I make my little bubble. Like I said, in psychology, that was supposed to be a regrouping place, not a wuss place, not a place of, you know, where you live your life inside of a bubble to mean that you put your rose-tinted glasses on and that's all you see and you can't take it or you can't hack it. No, it was actually supposed to be a regrouping thing, and that's what the term once meant. But contemporary people have spun it to mean wussland. And I'm like, I don't appreciate that. That's not what I meant. So, terminology does matter. I was using the right terminology. But anyway, it was a really bad time in my life, obviously. As a company, as a company continued to grow faster than we all imagined, we found some enemies along the way. When you get to a certain level in your career in any business, you graduate from being the up-and-coming darling who they build up and are then seen as competition, a threat, and are torn down, or at least they tried to. However, they will do whatever to prove to others this isn't happening to save face, to save their face. And, you know, I'm still considered the darling. That's fine. But I'm not a novice. And, you know, I don't mind being referred to as a darling. That's very sweet, actually. I just don't want people to, you know, try to harm and abuse me in the process of calling me that. Okay, so continuing, not to give the wrong idea, because most were incredibly supportive and secure in their talents and achievements and never tried to pull us down and use dirty tactics against us. Dirty tactics isn't healthy competition, it's cowardice. And it's also manipulation. I also deeply loved the dance community, and that was seen in the fruit of my labor, as I always supported all artists, assisted at others' shows, gave stipends, treated them well, etc. Only a very small handful reminded my board and I of the films Heathers or Mean Girls, in which they wrung their hands waiting for me to falter. We were warned about this group and to steer clear, and we did. However, they went after us. It was a ridiculous notion to see some in their youth, there were some young ones, which is excusable to a point due to inexperience, and some their mature adult years, which is inexcusable due to experience, leading by this poor example of insecurity and passive aggressiveness. So, I had people actually condescending to me, saying, "Oh, you're so human, you're so nice, you're so..." It's like, do you want me to act like an alien? Do you want me to start being bitchy to you? I can change that if you want. I'm like, such disdain because I was a good person. It's like, well, why don't you be the good person? And then you don't have to be bitchy to me because you'll be nice. And I couldn't win because they didn't want me to win, but I have won actually. They took my copyrighted words and videos off social media and claimed them as their own. One was so obsessed with me, they spoke my words and speeches and reposted them as their own words, almost like plagiarism, secret code to show their allegiance to the small, petty group. It seems strange why anyone would want to copy anyone or something is complete bait. Want to copy someone else because it pegs them as an original. Being inspired by someone or something is completely different. So, and once someone said my own words back to me, and a board member overheard it and immediately called them out in public. It was solved. It solved the problem, for it never happened again. My board doesn't mess around and is quick to deal with things. But as you guys know, it did happen again. It just happened with different people in different professions. And, we don't want it happening to us on any level. We don't want it being done to us with friends, family, nothing. So we've been calling people out, and they who are responsible for it were not expecting us to do that, especially me. And in some cases, we've even played back certain recordings saying, why are you saying exactly these words that I just said on this phone call or this private conversation here? Would you like to hear some of it? And there are no words for them to say because they're like, yeah, well, where did you get these from? And then it's just, that's the very confusing part. Because they're probably hearing it from somebody else who's trying to do that power of suggestion type thing. I'll get to that in a moment too. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of different things in here where I was reading how people would start going after me and how people were treating me like this, and I'm like, why? It was unnecessary. You don't treat people like this unless you want to try to put them in a place underneath of you. And then I did research on some of these people. They're younger than me. They have less experience than me. Especially now, have you seen all the really incredible things that have been happening? It's like I've been more successful away from all of this and just, doing my own thing. I'd rather, it would have been nice to be part of the group, but, and it's not everybody. I don't want to exaggerate or use hyperbole. It's just a small group, but, a little bit can leaven the whole loaf, and I'm like, I just, I don't do this. I don't want to have anything to deal with it, and unfortunately, because of a past horror that happened to me with another relationship, I love people, but I can only go so far now because people get nuts, and I just can't deal with that anymore. So unfortunately, but I go into a lot of that in here. And again, this is from Cancer to Dancer, although I was already a dancer and established in other ways prior to cancer. Um, so then I go in here and I talk also about how we, even though it said, oh, it never happened again, but it was short-lived, unfortunately, and it started happening as I pushed away from those people. Like I said, it was in other professions. It was any point of access. So this is what gives it up, that it's still these people. And in looking back, we didn't realize at that time that was like a corporate stalking and possibly a corporation using people corporately. That means a group, like a relay team almost. And come to find out, superstars get this treatment. And look, I worked for Aaron Spelling, and he told me some things. And I remember him mentioning, what was it called, the deep freeze, or the, what did I say it was again?
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something with freeze, or it was code. And he didn't quite hit the nail on the head and tell me what it was, but he also was talking to me, which we're going to put on our website very soon, quotes that he said about my talents. He knew I was a performer, he knew I was an actor, dancer, singer, he knew all those, and he's like, you're phenomenal. And very much akin to like throwing back to the real well-rounded performers of yesteryear, of the golden age of Hollywood. And he's like, he called me his jewel. And he used to joke around with me saying, I should just have cameras following you. Because, sometimes in passing in the hallways or something like that, I would sing, or I'd do a little tour, a turn, a little dance step, and just that. He was like, that's great. And I wasn't really trying to do anything except be my normal self. And, a lot of people, they had their eyes on me in a respectful way during that time. But he told me I had to be very careful because people would love to tear into me. And he said, you're going to have to be really, really strong. But as far as I'm concerned, he was the one who started or had the vision already for reality TV, because he was saying that he wanted to do that with me, like seriously, but joking at the same time. And of course he would have gotten permission. You guys just can't say, oh, Aaron Spelling wanted to do it to her, so I think we'll do it too. And then it doesn't work that way. You have to get my permission. And you don't have it. I've never signed a document, and you can't transfer one or forge my signature or copy and paste my signature to another document, or use a blank document and apply this like a blanket to other things, because ask some lawsuits, a lot of things are going to go down because of this BS. So anyways, but it's interesting to look back, because we had pieces, and this wasn't that long ago. It's like 4 years ago, really, when I started writing it, maybe 5, 6, and then continuously working on it, and we were all trying to figure out what it was. So I'm talking about this is the Mean Girls section. And there was just a whole bunch of horrible things that was happening, and I was just chalking it up to birds of a feather flock together, but you don't know how true that is. But there's more to it than just that. This is something else too. Everybody knows I love deeply. I help. It means nothing weird or anything. I have a history of just being extremely gracious, extremely honorable, extremely Dale Carnegie, because I think I mentioned that in here too. Yes, Dale Carnegie set the example. Hold on. Yeah, okay, Dale Carnegie set the example of how to treat people in business, and we follow. The thing is, this only works with people who believe in ethics. I deeply love these people and still do. However, when you give a gift to a fool, he won't know what to do with it. Such odd behavior from grown adults. This is true. Did they actually know what they were doing? Well, everybody knows that the arts can attract, quite over-the-top type people. And while that's great, they can be unstable. They can be. nothing personal, but I've seen it happen. And I'm like, that's my right brain, left brain. My left brain anchors the right brain from being a little too much. And I apply it appropriately. And then this one time, I did. They were curious to know why I was helping them so much. And I said, I just want to let you know why I'm helping you so much. It's because I do love you. And it wasn't weird, but they yelled at me. They yelled at me, and I'm like, oh my God. They tore me apart, and I'm like, talk about having something in their history or past, and how would I know? I didn't really know this person. Here I am, a Christian. That's what Christians do. Oh, I love you, I love you. It's not like that. It's very agape love, and right?
Yeah.
And then this person just went nuts on me, so I'm very careful. And that's terrible. I don't even say that I love people anymore, and they need to hear it. And a lot of people want to hear it. This is just one of those rare, weird things, and because of that experience, I really don't say that to anybody anymore. Because I'm like, holy cow. And then I'm like, why did God put this very unbalanced person in my life? Oh, they did a lot of really bad things to me. And if you're listening, you know what? Of course, forgiven under the blanket of forgiveness. But this is my history, my reality, and it's factual. You know it is. It's truth. So I have a right to present it. But, given the flip side, also the compassion. So it's not just, hey, this person went off on me and they're crazy or something like that. No, it's like this person went off on me, and then I wanted to find out why, and it made me love them more out of compassion and sympathy. Here's some more. This is really a great chapter. The irony was found in that these same people would call me up and say the worst things about each other to me. They talked dirt about each other. The only loyalties they served were selfishness and betrayal, and turned on one another in an instant. Eventually I had to speak up and say that I actually liked a person they were maligning against, and I would stop chatting, and they would too. The tearing down of a person is an ugly thing to listen to, and I couldn't condone it. This isn't including when you have to hold someone in account for stealing, cheating, etc. That you must talk about and is not considered tearing one down. There's a difference between venting and destroying. There's a heart's intent. One is trying to solve problems, which is a benign heart intent, and the other causes problems with a malignant heart intent. Just look at the outcomes of things and you'll see what the fruit bears. Always do I ask myself, would I want what I'm about to do done to me? If the answer is no, then I've given myself my answer of how to proceed. But keep in mind, that is not to mean, say if we've had to file lawsuits, and we've had to file complaints, rightfully so, very carefully so. And it has to happen when you have enough evidence saying, you know what, this person obviously has shown that they don't like me. They have used my likeness in advertising. We have asked them to stop doing that. We have asked them to stop copying things that we are trademarking. And we have asked them to, so if they do stop, then it can stop right there. But when they have a representative write a letter back to my board or attorney using words from my private conversation in which saying this is how I stand, and usurping those words, stealing them from private conversations, putting them in a letter and putting them back to us, well, now it doesn't take too much to say, here's the evidence, here's the conversation.